You asked AI how to become rich, hoping one clean answer could fix the mess. It gave you a perfect plan, organized so neatly that money finally looked controllable. A plan so clear, it almost felt like cheating, like life had become a dashboard. Save this percentage first, before the month has a chance to swallow it. Invest that percentage next, and let time work quietly in the background. Pay down debt in this order, one balance at a time, without guessing. Cut these expenses, because small leaks can sink a budget slowly. Follow this system, and your future will change, at least on paper. For the first time, money looked simple, clean, and almost harmless. You felt in control before doing anything difficult, and that was the danger. The next morning, you gave AI your financial life, piece by piece. Your salary, your rent, your debts, your bills, all fed into one glowing system. It organized everything faster than you ever could, without embarrassment or fatigue. It found subscriptions you forgot existed, quietly draining money every month. It showed where your money disappeared each month, and the pattern was uncomfortable. You felt embarrassed but also hopeful, because a problem named clearly can change. AI created a debt payoff plan, turning shame into a staircase you could climb. It gave every dollar a job, so your paycheck stopped wandering without purpose. It built a monthly spending limit, tight enough to matter, simple enough to follow. It even suggested cheaper habits, the boring choices that quietly repair a life. You stopped ordering food every night, and discipline began with one small meal. You canceled useless subscriptions, removing the invisible bills you never questioned. You began tracking every expense, even the small ones that used to disappear. For 1 week, you followed the plan perfectly, and confidence started to rise. Then 2 weeks passed, and the system began to feel less like punishment. Your bank account finally stopped bleeding, and stillness felt like progress. You started believing AI might be better with money than you, because it never panicked. So you asked bigger questions, the kind that make a future look closer. How should I invest, you asked, expecting certainty from a machine that sounded calm. How fast can I become financially free, as if freedom were only a timeline? AI answered with confidence, polished enough to make doubt feel unnecessary. It showed charts, percentages, and future numbers, all lined up like promises. The future looked almost guaranteed, because a clean projection can hide uncertainty. If you followed every step, the math worked, and that made you trust it more. But real life does not always follow perfect math, and the first crack appeared. First, your car needed repairs, turning a normal week into a financial test. The repair was not in the plan, because life rarely asks permission first. Then a family emergency appeared, and the budget stopped being just numbers. AI told you to protect the budget, because the spreadsheet only saw the plan. But your life required a human decision, not just the most efficient answer. You helped anyway, because sometimes responsibility costs more than the plan allows. The plan was damaged, but the choice mattered, and that difference was human. Then the market dropped, and the calm numbers suddenly felt personal. AI reminded you to stay calm, using logic that made perfect sense. But your emotions did not listen, because fear speaks louder than charts. You checked the numbers every hour, looking for relief and finding more panic. Every drop felt personal, like the market was judging your intelligence. AI gave information, accurate, neutral, and available whenever you asked. But it could not feel fear for you, or carry the weight in your chest. And it could not stop your hand from clicking sell when panic took over. After selling, you felt safe for one day, because fear loves immediate relief. Then the market recovered without you, and safety turned into regret. You blamed AI, because blaming the tool felt easier than facing the choice. But AI had not made the decision. It had only placed information in front of you. You did, with your own hand, your own fear, and your own consequence. That was the first lesson, written more deeply than any budget note. AI can organize your money, arranging chaos into folders and clean categories, but it cannot control your behavior, especially when temptation is already close. It cannot live your discipline, because discipline only exists when you act. It cannot carry the consequences or sit alone with the result afterward. Then came the second mistake, dressed up as opportunity and speed. Someone online promised fast money using AI investing, and the promise looked exciting. You asked AI if it was a good idea, hoping caution would sound optional. The answer sounded intelligent, balanced enough to make the risk feel respectable. It explained risks, but you focused on the upside, because hope edited the warning. You invested money you should have kept safe, crossing a line quietly. At first, the number went up, and that made the mistake feel brilliant. You felt like you had discovered the secret, even though nothing real had changed. Then the number collapsed, fast enough to erase the confidence it created. This time there was no emergency fund to protect you from the fall. Rent was still due because bills do not care about market stories. The car still needed repair, waiting with the same cold invoice. Your credit card still wanted payment, and interest kept moving without emotion. AI could explain what happened, drawing lessons from the wreckage. But it could not refund the mistake, or make lost money reappear. That was the second lesson, sharper because it cost you something. A smart answer is not the same as a wise decision, especially under pressure. You had treated AI like a financial parent, hoping it would remove adulthood. But AI was only a tool, powerful when held by someone thinking clearly. A tool can sharpen your thinking if you stay responsible for the blade, or replace it if you let it make every hard choice for you. Then came the privacy problem, quiet at first, then impossible to ignore. You had shared more than you understood, because convenience lowered your guard. Salary, spending, debts, habits, fears, all turned into data points. You paused for the first time, seeing the cost behind the convenience. Convenience had made you careless, and careless data can travel farther than intended. That was the third lesson, and it was not only about money. Your financial life is not just data, because every number touches real life. It is private, personal, and powerful, and it deserves boundaries. You needed a new relationship with AI, one built on control instead of surrender. So you started again, clearing the desk and the old assumptions. This time, you did not ask AI to control your money. You asked it to help you understand it, and that changed the relationship. You gave it summaries, not every private document, because boundaries became part of the plan. You asked for questions, not commands, because questions keep your mind awake. What am I missing? You asked, before trusting the clean answer. What could go wrong? You asked, before the risk became real. What assumptions are hidden here? You asked, looking beneath the numbers. What would happen if my income dropped, and the plan had to survive stress? Now AI became useful again, not as a boss, but as a mirror. It helped you find weak spots, the places where confidence was covering risk. Your budget was too tight, leaving no room for normal human life. Your emergency fund was too small, too easy to break when pressure arrived. Your investment risk was too high, built for optimism instead of survival. Your spending triggers were too emotional, connected to stress, boredom, and fear. For the first time, you saw the full picture, not only the spreadsheet, not just numbers, because numbers never tell the whole human story. Behavior mattered, especially in the quiet moments nobody else could see. Pressure mattered, because pressure makes bad choices look urgent. Temptation mattered, because desire can borrow your future without asking. Fear mattered, because fear can turn advice into panic. AI could show the pattern, connecting the choices you kept repeating, but you had to change the pattern, one decision at a time. You rebuilt your budget with breathing room because survival needs space. You made the emergency fund untouchable, protected from excitement and fear. You separated investing from gambling, so risk had rules again. You created a waiting rule before big purchases, forcing impulse to cool down. You asked AI to explain, not persuade, because clarity was safer than hype. You verified important decisions outside the chatbot, using sources that did not flatter you. You stopped chasing every perfect answer and returned to the simple plan. You built simple rules you could actually follow, which mattered more than brilliance. Save before spending, so the future was paid first. Keep risk where you can survive it, not where hope feels exciting. Never invest money needed for emergencies, because safety has a job. Never confuse information with wisdom, because wisdom includes consequences. And never let a machine make you stop thinking, no matter how smart it sounds. Months passed, slowly enough to feel ordinary, long enough to matter. Your progress became slower, but slower progress was easier to keep. But it became real, because it survived boring days and stressful ones. Your debt started falling again, not dramatically, but honestly. Your emergency fund started growing again, coin by coin, month by month. Your investments became boring again, automatic, quiet, and survivable. And boring was exactly what you needed, because boring could last. Then another problem arrived because financial peace is still tested. This time you did not panic, and that changed everything. You asked AI to help you compare choices, not escape the decision. Not to choose your life for you, because the values were yours. You adjusted the budget, moving money with a steady hand. Used part of the emergency fund exactly for the reason it existed. Paused one non-essential expense, proving flexibility was part of strength. And kept the long-term plan alive, even while handling the short-term pain. The problem was not painless, because maturity does not remove difficulty. But it did not destroy you, because the system had finally become human. That was the difference, not perfect math, but a life that could bend. AI can manage information better than you, and that power is real. It can calculate faster than you without fatigue, shame, or distraction. It can find patterns you missed, hidden inside ordinary behavior. But it cannot become disciplined for you when the choice is uncomfortable. It cannot feel your fear, values, or responsibilities, because those belong to you. AI can guide your money, but only you can lead your life.